A deadly start to the new year for the United States, as separate attacks are investigated for possible terrorism links. Ko Wen-je is back in court again. The former Taipei mayor could be re-detained as his corruption case continues. Taiwan's low birth rate may drop even further, and auspicious birth dates might not be able to save it. Plus, meet the Taipei artist who's turning trash into sculptures. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Betty Chen. The FBI is investigating a car ramming in New Orleans that killed at least 15 people as a terrorist attack. Police say the man who drove a pickup truck into crowds of people celebrating the New Year was hell-bent on creating carnage. Huang Kuo-chang reports.
A night signifying a new beginning comes to a violent end. At least 15 people have been killed and more than 30 injured in a vehicle ramming attack against people celebrating the New Year on New Orleans' popular Bourbon Street in the U.S. state of Louisiana. The FBI identified 42-year-old U.S. citizen Shamsud Din Jabbar, an Army veteran from Texas, as the driver. Jabbar was killed in a gunfight with police, concluding what they say was a premeditated attack.
Last night, we had over 300 officers out here. And because of the intentional mindset of this perpetrator who went around our barricades in order to conduct this, he was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did.
The FBI says the suspect claimed inspiration from the Islamic terrorist group ISIS on social media in the hours before the attack. The group's flag was also found attached to the rental truck used in the incident.
And the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations. Weapons and potential improvised explosive devices, IEDs, were located in the subject's vehicle. Other potential IEDs were also located in the French Quarter.
Authorities say New Orleans was in the process of replacing barriers designed to protect pedestrians from vehicles ahead of the upcoming Super Bowl, one of the world's largest sporting events. The terror attack, the deadliest in the U.S. in over a year, left many residents and tourists shaken.
Like, you just heard this squeal and like the rev of an engine, and then this huge loud impact, and then the people screaming. And debris, just metal, the sound of crunching metal and bodies. It's just like shock and disbelief. You just don't,
U.S. President Joe Biden says he's standing with the people of the city.
To all the families of those who are killed, to all those who are injured, to all the people of New Orleans who are grieving today, I want you to know, I grieve with you. Our nation grieves with you. We're going to stand with you as you mourn and as you heal in the weeks to come.
A college football match scheduled for Thursday has been postponed as security is tightened across New Orleans. And as authorities continue to investigate the driver's motives, a city known for its resilience starts the year picking up the pieces. Chung and Huang Kuo-chang for TaiwanPlus.
A Tesla Cybertruck has exploded outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, killing the person inside the vehicle and injuring 7 others. Authorities say that the truck was a rental and suspect that fireworks and camping fuel were used in the explosion. Tesla CEO and Trump advisor Elon Musk says the Cybertruck helped contain the blast, minimizing its impact. The explosion happened just hours after the truck attack in New Orleans. Authorities are investigating potential terrorist links, but say that they believe it was an isolated incident. Former Taipei Mayor Ko Wen-je could be back in custody after prosecutors successfully appealed again to overturn the district court's decision to release him on bail last week. It's the latest in a back and forth between prosecutors, the lower court, and a high court in a high-profile corruption case that's gripped the country. Tiffany Wong has more.
Former Taipei Mayor Ko Wen-je is back in court, and his release on bail is once again at stake. Now the district court is discussing whether to leave him out of detention. Prosecutors say that he could try to collude with others, and they successfully appealed to the high court to get the lower court to reconsider. Since Ko's release last week on an original bail of almost $1 million, prosecutors successfully appealed once, causing his bail to be hiked to over $2 million and requiring him to wear an ankle monitor. Plus, 3 other suspects out on bail also had their bail amounts raised, and they may be back in detention, including real estate developer Hsing, Taipei City Councilor Ying Xiaowei, and Ko's election finance chief Li Wenzong, who are all facing a second appeal by prosecutors on the same grounds. Ko has been charged with accepting bribes and embezzling political funds, and he faces a 28.5-year sentence if found guilty on all charges. Prosecutors are investigating him and several others for their alleged involvement in a land redevelopment project while he was mayor and his suspected misuse of campaign funds during his run for president last year. 5 of them, including Ko, were released on bail on the condition that they would not contact each other and would not leave the country. And now prosecutors are still fighting to bring them back to detention, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of back and forth between prosecutors, the high court, and the district court as prosecutors make sure that the defendants stay out of the investigation. Eason Chen and Tiffany Wong in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Ko's hearing is now underway. The court is expected to issue a decision shortly. Ko's bail hearing comes one day after he formally resigned as chair of the party he founded, the Taiwan People's Party. For more on what direction the TPP may now take with legislator Huang Kuo-chang as its acting head, Alec McDonald spoke to Tony Liu, a professor of politics at National Zhongxin University.
With Ko Wen-je now stepping down as TPP chair, what sort of legacy does he leave behind for the party?
Ko Wen-je, I think, he has many impacts among others, I should say. One being that we look at the domestic scene in Taiwan. It has always been a 2-party system for a very long time. So I think one of Ko's legacy was, or is, I should say, is to kind of at least take the party, at least step it up to the presidential election. So I think for a kind of a new party, that is one of the legacies that I think any forthcoming party would find a difficult time to actually overtake or replace in a short time.
The TPP balances between the DPP and KMT as the smaller third party. And under Ko Wen-je, critics said that he leaned more towards the KMT. Do you believe that Huang might take a more neutral approach or lean towards either party?
I guess in the foreseeable future, if there is still some coalition politics going on, I don't think as party leader or interim party leader at the moment of the TPP, Huang Kuo-chang is actually going to go back to the DPP in this case. So in that sense, he will still be leaning more towards the KMT to kind of, at least at the moment, to consolidate the TPP's kind of status within the parliament. However, I don't also, and this might sound like a paradox, I don't think that Huang Kuo-chang wants to be recognized as this party leader of the pretty much the small KMT or the other KMT in the making. So I think in between there might be this delicate balance.
Although the TPP is a rather small party with regards to cross-strait relations and foreign policy, what sort of decisions might Huang lead the party towards?
I think in a sense it would be quite difficult for him to actually do anything about foreign policy at the moment. Maybe cross-strait relations. However, cross-strait relations, Huang Kuo-chang will have to find that delicate balance between the KMT and the DPP, with one being more pro-unification and one being more pro-independence. And if we look at Ko, this was kind of Ko's legacy as well, or Ko's platform, although it was not really clearly meted out. So in that sense, you had the population wondering what Ke really wants or what the kind of the Taiwan People's Party really wants.
That was Tony Liu from National Zhongxing University. Taiwan's High Court has suspended a corruption case against former Hsing Mayor Anne Gao. Gao from the Taiwan People's Party was initially sentenced to 7 years and 4 months for misappropriating funds while in office. But during an appeal, the High Court ruled that the law she was convicted under may be unconstitutional. They've asked the country's constitutional judges to make a ruling on the law before proceeding. President Lai Ching-te has approved the cabinet's request that the legislature review one of the highly controversial amendments passed in December. The legislature will have to reconsider an amendment concerning the functioning of the Constitutional Court. The change requires 10 justices in order to make judgments, even though only 8 are currently serving. The cabinet has concerns over the amendment's potential impact on citizens' rights and constitutional order. Lawmakers now have 15 days to respond. If a majority upholds the original decision, the amendment will remain in effect. Expectant parents in Taiwan often hope their child can be born on New Year's Day, which is seen as lucky. Though it's hard to time birth dates exactly, a hospital in Taiwan has seen a worrying decline in New Year babies. It says this could be a sign Taiwan's low birth rate is getting even lower. Leslie Liao has more.
There are still about 20 days left in the Year of the Dragon, considered an auspicious year in Taiwan to have kids. Children born in a dragon year are believed to be blessed with good fortune. But it seems these days that even divine protection isn't enough to encourage people in Taiwan to have kids. Taiwan's birth rate is declining. The country is set to become a super-aged society this year, meaning 1 in every 5 people will be aged 65 and older. A hospital in the city of Taichung is noticing a big difference in the number of births, particularly on New Year's Day on the Western calendar.
本来在龙年的话都会止跌回升，但是今年看起来好像也没有这种状况产生，这是非常非常严重的。当然生不如死，这个已经没办法反转。
Last year, the hospital saw 7 births on New Year's Day. This year, there were only 2 in the early hours of 2025, a trend that's causing alarm among the staff. Taiwan's birth rate has dropped for 8 years straight. Many blame social and economic pressures for the decline.
现在人都30几岁才结婚啊，受孕率跟20几岁的人比起来，其实就比较低了。等于是能够受孕的能力跟时间都比以前要少1半以上。
Taiwan's birth rate has fallen dramatically compared to the past 2 dragon years in the 12-year zodiac cycle. 2 cycles, that's 24 years ago, 3 times as many babies were born as this year. Given that, Taiwan may need more than divine fortune to turn its declining birth rate around. Justin Wu and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
A record number of people traded on the Taiwan stock market last year as the artificial intelligence boom drove gains to new heights. The Taiwan Stock Exchange says more than 700,000 people opened new trading accounts in 2024, bringing the total to 13.2 million, both new records. Young people under 30 years old made up the largest share of new traders. Taiwan's benchmark index, the TAIEX, grew nearly 30% last year, making it the best performing market in Asia. Coming up after the break, a major Taiwanese media outlet has apologized for accidentally showing China state TV on a New Year's party jumbotron. Stay tuned.
We bring you stories from Taiwan.
Every day of the week.
Our reporters travel the nation.
Exploring the issues that matter to you.
News from here in Taiwan and around the world.
What's up, Taiwan? On TaiwanPlus. For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. Major Taiwanese media group TVBS has apologized for unintentionally playing Chinese state media coverage on the Jumbotron at a Taipei New Year's event. The broadcast triggered an uproar online and comes amid simmering tensions between Taiwan and China. Joy Hsing reports.
A sensitive mistake to ring in the new year. One of Taiwan's biggest private media groups, TVBS, has apologized for accidentally airing Chinese state media at a New Year's event in Taipei, including images of Chinese fighter jets. The mistake by the outlet, which has close ties with the China-friendly opposition party Kuomintang, sparked anger from people on site and online, some speculating whether it was a hack by Beijing. Taipei's city government has called it a serious mistake. In a statement, TVBS, who was operating the screens near the iconic Taipei 101 skyscraper, apologized and explained that while equipment was being packed away, a subcontractor's backup laptop was still plugged in and showed content queued up by YouTube autoplay, leading to the accidental broadcast of unrelated content. Given Beijing's constant threat to take self-ruled Taiwan by force, the apology and official explanation for the gaffe of playing China Central Television or CCTV to a public crowd in Taipei has left many here unsatisfied.
好像不太妥啦，我们台湾应该也会有节目可以播放，为什么一定要播央视？
很多人都有拍限动说怎么都怪怪的。
In recent weeks, officials and citizens in Taiwan have been extra vigilant over Chinese United Front tactics, a tool used by Beijing to get pro-unification messages across. In early December, Taiwanese students protested a group of visiting Chinese students, saying they avoided interacting with their Taiwanese hosts. Chinese officials were also denied entry into Taiwan for an annual forum. And Taiwan's main office that handles cross-strait affairs vowed to investigate claims made by YouTubers about alleged Beijing strategies to recruit Taiwanese influencers. Though the New Year's mishap has been explained as a mistake, lawmakers urge extra attention when planning and executing city-backed public events.
以后台北市政府在办大型活动的时候，应该要特别要求厂商啊，一定要特别的小心注意啊，才不会有这个非预期的画面跑出来。
Officials have stressed the need for people in Taiwan to stay alert and be even more cautious so that any preventable mistakes do not add to already existing pressure and coercion coming from the outside. Kama Xu and Joy Hsing for TaiwanPlus.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has reportedly sent North Korean leader Kim Jong-un a New Year's card. North Korean state media says it was one of several such cards sent from heads of state. Kim attended New Year celebration with his daughter on Wednesday, but did not make a speech. Kim has sent a letter to Russian leader Vladimir Putin on New Year's Eve, pledging stronger ties between the two countries. China has announced the construction of the world's largest dam near its border with India. The massive project will be built in the lower reach of the Yarlung-Tsangpo River in Tibet, which is known in India as the Brahmaputra River. The dam is expected to cost $137 billion. Once completed, it will generate 300 billion kilowatt hours of electricity annually, more than triple the energy generated by China's Three Gorges Dam, the largest in the world. The announcement has sparked concerns in India and Bangladesh, who depend on the water that flows downstream from the river. To learn more about the implications of China's new dam, Ed Boer spoke to Ruth Gamble, a lecturer at La Trobe University.
China has announced plans to build a new hydropower project on the Yarlung-Tsangpo River. Could you explain the significance of this project?
This is going to be, as far as they've announced it, the biggest dam ever built in terms of the capacity that it will output. So at the moment, we have the Three Gorges Dam, which is a massive dam, one single dam producing a lot of energy. And this will produce up to 3 times as much energy as the Three Gorges Dam. Mainly because not so much they don't have to build as big a dam, if that makes sense. Like the Three Gorges Dam is massive. And the thing that they're relying on, building on the lower reaches of the Yalong-Tsangpo, is that the geography there is so unique, so steep, that they don't need to build as big a dam to create as much, to get as much energy out of that space.
Considering the dam's location near the border with India, how might this impact the dynamics between China and India?
I think that building this dam is seen within the Chinese public, or like the Chinese scientific community and engineering community, as like the same as going to the moon. It's an incredibly difficult engineering feat, and they've been developing their engineering capacity in dams way beyond what anyone else in the world is doing. So the whole idea that you can develop what some people, not me, some people in the Indian media have been saying is a water weapon. That wouldn't be one massive reservoir. But if you have small cascading dams, then that can alleviate some of India's fears, and possibly, and like a big possibly, have less effect on the particular and unique environment of that region.
For downstream countries like India and Bangladesh, this project will have a major impact. Will China address their concerns?
So even if they alleviate their concerns at the outset of building this dam, by saying they're going to do tunnels and smaller dams and so on, and giving India access to more information about the dams being built, the real issues between China and India about this dam are going to happen in 20, 30 years, when you have like a glaciers melting and a glacial lake outburst flood in the region, and how those kind of, or a massive earthquake. One of the largest earthquakes in the whole region was right near this dam in 1950, the Assam earthquake, or the Assam-Tibet earthquake.
That was Ruth Gamble of La Trobe University discussing China's new mega dam. Honduran President Xiomara Castro has threatened to shut down U.S. military bases in her country if mass numbers of Honduran migrants are deported under the incoming Trump administration.
Frente a una actitud hostil de expulsión masiva de nuestros hermanos, tendríamos que considerar un cambio en nuestras políticas de cooperación con Estados Unidos, especialmente en el campo militar.
Castro made a statement during her New Year's address. She says the U.S. has maintained military bases in Honduras without a payment arrangement. Hondurans are the biggest demographic filing for asylum in the U.S., a category of migrants President-elect Trump has threatened to deport. Trump made migrants from Honduras and other Central American countries a central election campaign issue in 2024. As the world continues to face growing environmental problems from electronic waste, one Taipei-based artist is turning discarded materials into unique artworks. Wesley Lewis has more.
Taiwanese artist KJohn is reimagining what it means to upcycle. He's known for his creative sculptures, crafted from old electronics that have been cast aside.
其实我一开始只是做兴趣。 我那时候没有想过说要往这方面走，只是觉得说，这东西不要的，然后拿来创作很好玩。而且我从那个时候开始，就是在陆陆续做了一些，就越做越多越好玩。
A former graphic designer, KJohn has been making his artworks for nearly a decade, prompted by what he calls his childlike imaginings and a strong sense of environmental responsibility. Not wanting to contribute to the growing global problem of e-waste, he re-envisions components from broken electronics, reassembling them into art. KJohn's workshop and his sculptures of spaceships, robots, and even King Kong are located in Taipei's iconic Treasure Hill neighborhood. This area was once an illegal hillside settlement founded by military veterans in the 1940s. It was revitalized in 2010 by the city government working with NGOs. This initiative was criticized for having displaced many of their original tenants, while simultaneously praised for fostering a new environmentally conscious artist community, which includes KJohn. Aside from keeping waste to a minimum, KJohn says his art is also motivated by the need for sustainability. In 2022, over 60 million tons of electronic waste was produced globally, of which less than a quarter was recycled. It's one of the world's fastest surging solid waste streams. The WHO says the toxins in unrecycled e-waste could pose adverse environmental and health effects, especially for children and pregnant women, a concern that KJohn hopes to help address.
我们知道的垃圾会越多，但我们一定没办法零垃圾，这不可能。但我们只能够减少垃圾，就是尽量绿生活。所以只能说，我们用现有的东西，让它更一个生命。
Though the world's waste problem doesn't seem easily surmountable, KJohn says he wants his art to inspire creativity and meaningful conversations among his community and those who visit Treasure Hill. And he doesn't intend to slow down, aiming to keep finding innovative ways to repurpose one man's heap of trash into another man's hill of treasure. Fu Huahong and Wesley Lewis for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we take you to the Lagos Fanti Carnival in Nigeria, a lively blend of African, Brazilian, and Cuban heritage. I'm Betty Chen. Take care and see you next time.
For more stories from here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and around the world, make sure to visit us on social media.